Hello, hello. All right, Ophiuchus, welcome back. Let's go ahead and jump on into this one. Ophiuchus, I'm going to ask the question, what is the message from the cosmos? All right, so let's just go ahead and see where our storyline takes us. Ophiuchus, we begin with the Hanged Man, Piscean energy, but you notice it's in the reverse. This could be an end of delays. This could be the cosmos is sending a message that says things have been, I'll say, reorganized, restructured. Things that used to be like spilled out, maybe it's reversing and now the cup is being filled instead of, I'm thinking more like the tides. In fact, I have the song Ebb Tide in my head right now by the Righteous Brothers. Um, it feels like there's like the something rhythmic, like things flowed out and now they're starting to come back in. So Ophiuchus, if there has been, maybe this is the ebb and flow of money, maybe this is the ebb and flow of creative energy, maybe this is the ebb and flow of just energy as a whole. I know I can run through spells where I get really depleted and then finally I get caught up and then my energy kind of comes back like a wave. We have a Four of Pentacles. You notice we have all the bread, the beer. We have it's like the harvest time is here, and now we can actually make something out of what we harvested. So here's what I'm thinking. There's definitely been a delay, but during a delay, things actually amassed. Like let's say we put we think we're not really managing our money very well, but maybe we set it up to where those few pennies off of every dollar wind up getting tucked in our savings account. And then our savings account was accruing a little bit of interest. And now we turn and we take a look at that savings account. It's like, oh, wow, that money that was sitting there, that money that we'd been saving, look at what it's grown into. Look at what it's fermented into. Something has accrued without the effort of Ophiuchus. All they had to do was allow things to sit and, I want to say, compound or sit and ferment. I mean, maybe somebody is baking bread, don't upset the yeast. I have a whole song for that, by the way, that's sung to the tune of Beauty and the Beast, but it's all about bread baking. I changed the lyrics and it's don't upset the yeast, because if you've ever baked bread, you've got to let your yeast ferment first, right? So let the process happen is what this says. I don't know, maybe somebody likes Disney films, maybe Beauty and the Beast is a particular song somebody enjoys. Andrea, Voyager 2, so good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. We have Girl of Cups, which in any other deck would be the Page of Cups. This is somebody has a love offer, somebody who has either been thinking about Ophiuchus, and when I say love offer, I don't mean it has to be romantic, but it's an emotional offer. Could it be an apology? Sure. But we usually apologize out of a place of like good-hearted energy, not negative energy, right? So that's why I would still classify it as a love offer, even if it's not a romantic offer. We don't know that yet. But I will say something that was owed to Ophiuchus is coming back in, and it is definitely coming in the form of maybe vindication, maybe Ophiuchus like just had to let things sit. Maybe that fermentation that we talked about was really like in somebody's mind. I mean, it could be that they felt kind of guilty. It could be that somebody has maybe Ophiuchus didn't call them out, but maybe Ophiuchus just withdrew their energy, and that allowed someone to really sit with their actions and consider what their actions really were. And that's finally got them to the place where they're like, I need to address this. Hey, Lila. Hi, Wendy. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the beautiful roses. Ooh, uh-oh. Okay, just so y'all can see, this is why I'm not taking these cards, because this was not a shuffle. This was a full-on collapse. So let me just put this mess back together. There's only one that came out separate to everything, so we'll keep it. It's the World. And hold on, I've got to give her a little outfit here. This is a fertility goddess, a statue of one, and it's simply because she doesn't have clothes on. That's the only reason I'm covering her. Not because I think there's anything wrong with nudity whatsoever, but because I don't make the rules on forums like this, so I try to be delicate and respectful. So with the World card here, though, this is, I don't want to say it's damage control, perhaps, but normally the World would be new cycles, new beginnings. Um, I have to say it this way. I think the message from the cosmos to Ophiuchus is to consider if someone is coming in to make an apology to Ophiuchus. Number one, we already said, well, an apology or an emotional offer is probably coming from a good place, not a negative place. Probably. I mean, I guess somebody could be like playing the long game of some massive deception and they're only coming in to say sorry so they can get back in and cause, like destruction. That I suppose we should leave that on the table as possible. But I don't think so with the cards that we've got. This doesn't seem like a story of a villain who plays the long game, or some mastermind, evil mastermind. This looks like a timeline where Ophiuchus did not take any action, nor did somebody else, but they haven't been going through it. They did not move on from whatever situation happened with Ophiuchus. They did not forget what happened with Ophiuchus. They did not forget their role in it. They have been probably a little bit plagued by it. That, how will I say it? A conscience sometimes speaks louder over time, the same way gnawing hunger gets worse. We can try to pretend we're not hungry or thirsty, but you know what? Pretty soon our tummy's growling and everybody around us can hear it. It's kind of like this person's conscience might have been pushing on them all the while. And something about their own fertility, or I don't know that I want to use the word fertility, even though we have the fertility goddess, maybe their own ability to create abundance kind of started to just flatline. They haven't been able to move forward because they didn't make something right with Ophiuchus. So I would just say, if this is the message for Ophiuchus, it's almost encouraging Ophiuchus to maybe hear this person out just a little bit, because perhaps giving them the space to, they're trying to correct something. They're trying to course correct. Their conscience needs, I'll say, reprieve. And if, I know this is asking a lot of Ophiuchus, because now Ophiuchus has to be the bigger person in order to give somebody else's conscience the reprieve that they need, the break that they need, the chance to maybe receive forgiveness, so then maybe they can start to have a flow of better energy in their world. But I think Ophiuchus holds the power to alleviate somebody's suffering, even though it almost seems like it could be one of those very delicate situations where they might have caused Ophiuchus, in this case, some collapse, some destruction. The only thing I will say is that I love the Tower card. Hey, give love, get love, give love. Thank you for being here. Sorry for messing up your name. I apologize. The fact that I love the Tower, I was looking in a positive context where something that was too confining needed to be freed up. Like wearing a corset can make your waist all snatch, but is it that easy to breathe in it? Probably not so much. So maybe it's nice not to have to wear those anymore, right? We're not in that era of history where we must do that. Now, if we do, it's a fashion thing because we want to. It's not because it's the expected social norm. So I'm just saying that sometimes being unbound can be a positive thing. I feel like whatever they did, even if it caused some disruption in Ophiuchus's life, even if they suddenly stopped being the support network that they should have been for Ophiuchus, I actually think Ophiuchus kind of gained something out of their withdrawal. To me, this is a story of somebody who disappeared out of Ophiuchus's life, maybe at a moment, because right now I've got that awesome Millie Jackson song in my head right now. You left me just when I needed you most. I love her version of that. But it's an awful song, but man, Millie is anything but a victim. Like, Millie Jackson is one of my heroes. I love Millie and the way she sings and the power that she has. It just seems like if this person disappointed or left Ophiuchus high and dry, ultimately Ophiuchus did not actually have a devastating loss. What they had was freedom, a new lifestyle perhaps. Maybe they had to rebuild totally on their own, but there is something here that was positive out of this. Now, keep in mind, the person who's been suffering is actually the individual that didn't provide the support that they should have or that was expected. They have been going through it. This could be somebody that ghosted or left Ophiuchus, and this could be them coming back 10 years later to say, I messed things up with you. Let me just put it this way. They have been going through it. I'm not saying Ophiuchus has to say, oh, well, let me cry you a river of tears. Then I guess I should just care about boo-hoo, you're so sad that you left me. No, but Ophiuchus gained freedom, and we have a 3 of Wands. They've already moved on. We have the Boy of Cups, so we have a Knight of Cups. I feel like, yes, this is somebody from the past because we got the dinosaurs, so we got ancient history coming in. But we still have a future where it's almost like if Ophiuchus dealt with somebody who was not there for them, who didn't show up, who didn't support them, okay, that was crap for sure. But maybe meeting that person helped Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus remembered that situation they dealt with, and then when they moved forward, they picked a better lover. This Ophiuchus is ending up with somebody other than that person from their past, in my opinion. It's almost like Ophiuchus could turn to this person and say, it's okay, I forgive you, because I personally benefited from even the fact that you dipped out on me. I benefited in the way I dealt with people moving forward, and I actually found somebody better, or I've been able to find better connections because you taught me some things about what not to put up with, or what not to tolerate, or what not to hang my hat on. This, oh gosh, I don't know why there's so many songs in my head for this one, but I always think in music anyway. But Brandy Carlisle has a song called I Will, and I love that song. And she says something about it like, I've learned not to lean on like basically things that will break or things that will bend, something along those lines. There's, I think Ophiuchus could not have relied on this person. So the fact that they dipped out, Ophiuchus didn't lose much support in reality. And I know this sounds so insulting, but it's like if you had somebody give you a trampoline and the trampoline was actually, like frayed and the thing was going to break anyway, it would be better if at the last second they said, oh no, I gave that trampoline to a different friend. I know I was going to give it to you and you were counting on it because you wanted it for whatever exercise or your kids, or you promised it to your kids. But then they gave it away to somebody else instead of you, and then you felt awful because you had to disappoint your kids. But then what if it was almost on its last leg anyway, and then you would have been left with some big busted thing that you got to pay to go take to the dumps, or worse, it could have, broken while somebody was playing on it. Not having that support, if it wasn't really going to be supportive anyway, that could have been why this is actually a positive. And so I think Ophiuchus learned something really powerful about who not to put their faith or expectations in, and that has served them well, because I think Ophiuchus, even now this person is coming in as a Page of Cups, but Ophiuchus is like, I don't really deal with pages. Even now you're coming in to say sorry, or you're coming in with an emotional offer, but your offer of support is quite tiny, and it's heartfelt, and I thank you, but your offer is much tinier. Now I at least deal with knights, kings, queens, emperors, and empresses. Like I'm only moving up. I only put my hand in the hands of people that I think can ride beside me. You got to ride with me, not trailing behind me, saying you'll offer me support. Let me use one last analogy. If a 5-year-old said they were going to make us breakfast in bed, that's nice. But what do we think they're going to make for us? 5-year-olds can't use the stove yet, most likely. So they'll probably bring in their favorite snacks. They'll bring us maybe a chunk of banana. They'll bring us what they can reach in the fridge, which is probably a handful of grapes, maybe some cheese, and that's going to be sweet, right? But that's not the same as an adult who says, I'm going to make you breakfast in bed and they make you a souffle and all these other things, right? So the expectations of what someone could have offered Ophiuchus realized they didn't have a lot to offer, which means when they withdrew, I also didn't lose that much. And that is a huge sense of enlightenment. And although this person has been very bothered, to their credit, they've been very bothered in their conscience, and they maybe have even suffered quite a bit for not having at least tried to be consistent and offer whatever they could, if that was the promise that they had made. I think it is wonderful that Ophiuchus has the power to alleviate some of their suffering and let them know in the nicest of ways, I moved on. And really, when I think back to the past with you, you helped me to form a better future for myself. I mean, I'm not saying Ophiuchus has to say, look, you handed me a handful of grapes. You were like a little kid. I know better than to, try to put my hopes on somebody that's, not mature. I'm not saying they have to say it in a rude way. I'm just saying this is the kind of the big message. That's why it's a message from the cosmos. It's probably going to be a big macro thing to look at. You know what? Ophiuchus could very well end up being friends with this person. Someone who was a person who let them down in the past. It's like, well, now I know not to expect too much of you. And yes, we can still be friends. I put you in a whole different bracket of expectations at this point. Yes, you're not a bad person. You just couldn't have offered the things that you maybe attempted to or said you were gonna, and then you dipped out. Bottom line is, though, I don't I don't expect you to be the person, but it doesn't mean that you can't be a person in my life. You may not be my person to build with, but you can still be even a friend. So it really changes the dynamics. And this whole thing might have been more about friendship. Sometimes friends, are huge disappointments. Sometimes it's family members, huge disappointments. Heck, this could be a parental figure who was not grown up enough to be a parent. Just because you can make a baby does not mean that you can take care of a baby or raise a baby or be a parent. This could be Ophiuchus having to forgive a parent, not having to, getting the chance to just say, you taught me so much. I ended up, finding a different role model. I ended up, discovering some of my own personal strengths. And you know what? I've had a good life anyway. So although I'm never going to call you mom or dad per se, because you didn't play that role for me, but we could be friends, it's different dynamics now. I feel like this is a very cathartic, very healing story. I liked this one probably out of all of the messages from the cosmos that I've had so far for the zodiacs. This one might be my favorite, only because it's such a, I feel like a huge weight is off in this one. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this one here. Hi, Jessica. Great to see you, honey. Me and you. Good to see you, hon. Hi, Megan. I'm delighted you popped in. All right, you guys, take care. I will see you again soon. I'm going to do Aries next. All right. So I'll see you guys again in a minute. Thanks so much for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.